So I finished my Lion Diet and Fitness challenge at the end of last month. Let's go over what I learned. What's shaking bacon? My name is Bruno Panucci. I've been doing this Lion Diet Fitness challenge for 3 months now, April, May, and June. So this is the first week of July, and we're going to go over what I learned from that 3 months. So I started that challenge bringing my food intake down from about 5 or 6 pounds of red meat a day down to about 4 pounds. So I was trying to decrease my appetite. I was wondering if that was a good way to go. When I went down to 4 pounds of lean ground beef, it was about a 70-30 split for fat to protein. So I gave it a shot, and about 3 weeks into it, I switched from a lean ground beef to a regular ground beef. So I was doing multiple meals a day, 3 meals, 1 pound at each meal, and then a snack 2 times a day. And each snack was about a half a pound. So what I was trying to do is lower my appetite. I was trying to shrink my stomach. That was one of the major things I was trying to do. So goal accomplished, because partway into that challenge, I also switched to 80-20 fat to protein ratio for my ground beef. Now I used ground beef mainly because it was my staple. So I was sticking with the Lion diet. So the only thing in my diet was beef and salt. There was a couple cheat days in there. One day I made some sausage, so I had to taste test it, and I had some of that sausage that day. But for the most part, I was like 99.9% strict. So anyway, when I switched down to a regular ground beef, so in Canada we call it regular ground beef, but it's a 80-20. It's a high fat ground beef, so it's a cheaper grade. I couldn't eat 4 pounds of that regular ground beef. It was just too much. So I switched down to about 3 pounds, because my one goal I've been doing ever since the beginning of these videos is to feel good first and foremost. And there's been times where I was eating 3 pounds of meat a day and I was too weak and I was too tired doing that, and I was not sleeping well. So I increased my meat up to a minimum 4 pounds a day. That's why I was typically having 5 to 6 pounds a day. I had adverse reactions when I was eating too little. So I was worried about going down to 4 pounds of meat a day. And when I switched to a higher fat, I was easily able to handle that. So when I switched to that 4 pounds, it just became too much to eat, and I had to cut back to about 3 pounds a day. And sometimes that was difficult to get in. Sometimes it was easy, but for the most part, it was pretty difficult to get in more than 3 pounds a day. So that 2.5 weeks or so that I had that 4 pounds of regular ground beef, my scale went up, and I went up 22 pounds. Now, 5 of that was lean mass, but I still went up 22 pounds. Now I was sleeping amazing. My digestion was really good. Now I did notice my hair was thinning out up top, and I was starting to get constipated when I was going down to 4 pounds of lean ground beef. And so I thought, okay, increasing my fat might be a good way to go. My sleep, I was usually getting no more than 6 hours sleep a night. So when I switched to a regular ground beef, oh boy, my sleep was amazing. It was so good, it's going to impact my next challenge. So I've been sticking to a high fat 3 pounds of regular ground beef for the last 2 months of my 3-month challenge. I lost about 10 of that 22 pounds. So what was left was the 5 pounds of lean mass that I put on, as well as a few pounds of fats that I still have. Now, some of that might have switched. The problem here is I couldn't get in to get a bod pod exam, a medical grade scan, to find out what my lean mass to body fat percentage was. So I'm going to just do that for the beginning of my challenge starting August. So I'm going to get into that later, but there's one thing I was also doing through this challenge was exercising. So I was doing weights every second day, and every off day I was doing a HIIT workout. Any challenge I've been doing since the beginning of this, September 2020, when I started these challenges, I've been doing these weightlifting exercises and these weightlifting routines, and I've been doing little HIIT workouts. But then when my challenge was done, I didn't do too much in the way of working out. I did smaller workouts. I stayed active, but not really too much. So I lost a lot of my gains from each time. And the one thing I'm going to do from now on, even when I'm not doing a challenge for 1 to 3 or 4 months, I'm going to make sure I'm always doing some type of physical activity, whether it's HIIT workouts, whether it's weight training. I'm going to do something to keep that up, because I want to maintain my lean mass in between my challenges. So I'm happy to do this. Now, in total, I'm down 150 pounds from my highest weight, and I did that eating zero carb. I did that last about 80 to 90 pounds. Before my recent weight gain, I lost 90 pounds of that doing strict carnivore since January 2021. So since January 2021, that's when I started the Lion Diet and Carnivore Diet, and I go in between the two. And I found that's when I lost about 90 pounds. So the last 90 pounds I've lost has been from doing carnivore. And before that, I was doing carnivore on and off. So I wasn't very regular with it. And that was a problem I had, but it's no longer a problem. I'd rather starve than go off this way of eating. I'm fat adapted. I enjoy it. I would never put a lick, taste, or crumb inside of my mouth again of something I'm not allowed to have, because it just triggers the addiction for me. So that's why I do what I do. Now I feel good doing this, and I want to tweak how I feel all the way along. So if I'm doing a challenge and I find it's just not agreeing with me, I'm quick to modify it or just stop it. So I switched from 4 pounds of regular ground beef down to 3 pounds of regular ground beef. Now I found my sleep wasn't quite as good when I was getting my 3 pounds of regular ground beef compared to the 4, but overall I was sleeping better than when I had 4 pounds of lean ground beef. I'm actually intrigued, and I'm going to start probably in August, 4 pounds of regular ground beef a day. It's going to be kind of tough to get in, but I think I can do it because I felt good. Now, like I said, my hair was thinning out. I was getting constipation, and I did have some constipation when I was at 3 pounds of regular ground beef a day. But overall, I think I just need to increase my fuel source, even though that goes against everything we know when it comes to how much my body is required to have. I'm right around the 4,000 calorie mark when it comes to my food intake and what I should be getting in a day. So I'm sure I'm going to put on weight going back up to these 4 pounds. Why would I do that? This is a weight loss fitness program that I'm doing, but ultimately I want to feel good. I've always said that, and you can go back to lots of my videos. I do this to feel good. Well, the weight loss is a side effect. When you're feeling really good and you're doing carnivore, the weight loss is going to come. Now, you aren't always going to lose weight in a linear fashion. Sometimes you plateau, and sometimes you go up and down a little bit. So I'm interested to see if I go up in weight, how long that lasts for. If I notice my waistline is going up, then I might modify that partway through. I noticed when I put on the 22 pounds, my waistline didn't go up. So I put on 22 pounds, but nothing on my waist. So all my clothes are fitting good. In fact, they were fitting a little bit better around the waist. So it was really confusing, because normally when you put on 22 pounds, you would assume that a lot of that is lean mass if your waistline didn't go up, but clearly some of it was fat. So I'll be starting my August 1st fitness challenge with a bod pod exam, and we're going to see what was left over from my last test, what my lean mass gains were. I do know I'm sitting at around 325 pounds. The lowest I got to before was about 317 pounds. And last I checked, 4 to almost 5 pounds of that was lean mass. So I'm not too concerned about my waistline, as long as my lean mass is doing well. If I went up 20 pounds, but all of that was lean mass, I wouldn't complain about that. But ultimately, I want to lose fat. So I believe my thyroid is a big part of this issue. So I want my thyroid to get under control. I'm going to see if I can start doing something to manage my thyroid better. I'm going to start looking into that in the month of July. Now, as far as my HIIT workouts go, one of the things I really enjoyed was I started that challenge in the beginning of April, and I was only doing squats, and I was taking it easy when I was doing my squats. I was doing this HIIT workout and 20-second intervals between exercises, and the first 20 seconds was squats, and the first week I took it easy. I was just getting my muscles used to it. I wasn't trying to race myself through the exercise. And if I recall, I couldn't even quite finish the full 10 reps. I think I did the first 8 reps of my HIIT workout instead of 10. And by the end of the week, I was doing 10. And then by the time I got halfway through it, I started doing really a high amount of squats in my 20-second intervals. I think I was up to 9 or 10 squats in that 20 seconds. And I was trying to always get full depth. And then probably about the last 2 weeks or so, I started with jump squats. So I'm really happy with that. So these jump squats are going really well. My thighs are killing me on a regular basis, but jump squats are the cat's meow. So I've worked up the jump squats and my push-ups. I have bad shoulders from when I used to bench press. When I bench press, I have to do a powerlifting style of bench pressing, because if I do a regular bodybuilding style of bench press, I can't bench press more than sets of 90 pounds because my shoulders burn. When I go in cold to weightlifting, my maximum bench press is 250 pounds. So it's neat to see that my bench has gone up just a little bit, and I'm happy with that. But more importantly, I've been doing push-ups through my HIIT workouts, and my push-ups, I had to start on an incline because my shoulders are so dinged from just years of injuries that I can't do push-ups on the floor without intense shoulder pain. So I started about 5 steps up, and my deck is about 1.5 feet off of the ground. So I've been doing push-ups off my deck outside. I've been doing my HIIT workouts outside, and I really enjoy it. So it's been nice. I've been noticing these progressions. I notice when I do my lunges, I have more depth now since I've been doing the jump squats. I feel like I'm a newbie with my lunges whenever I throw it in the same workout. But overall, I do 20 seconds of squats, 20 seconds of push-ups, and 20 seconds of, say, lunges. And I have varying exercises I throw in there, but I always make sure I have a compound exercise in where I'm moving multiple joints at once, along with 2 other exercises to accent the workout. So the neat thing is my waistline is the same, but I am up about 8 pounds. So 217 up to 325. Overall, when I ended this challenge at July 1st, my waist is no bigger or smaller. If anything, it's a tad smaller, but I'm up 8 pounds. The last time I weighed myself was 317, and I've ended this at 325, knowing that at least 5 pounds of that is lean mass. I advanced from squats to jump squats. I lowered my food intake from 4 pounds of meat a day down to 3 pounds because I think I just had a stretched out stomach. And even though I was eating 5 or 6 pounds of meat a day, that was too much. That's really expensive. And it would be nice to have a more normal appetite. And I accomplished that. So I'm really happy with those results. Now, I did hope to have more fat loss through this, but it is what it is. I think my thyroid is really the issue because I do have hypothyroidism, and I'm interested to see what happens when I start getting that treated more specifically than just a regular daily medication. So from this point forward, I'm not doing the Lion Diet for the month of July because I'm sticking with red meat as my main fuel source. Probably 85 to 90% of my fuel source is going to be red meat. But every now and then, I'm going to have some chicken wings, I'm going to have some cold cuts, and I'm just going to enjoy the month, and I'm going to make sure to keep listening to my body. If something isn't going right, then I'm going to tweak it as I go along, and I'll keep you updated on that. I'm not too worried about the weight loss simply because the weight loss is going to happen. So it's just a matter of it happening now or later. There's something going on. I think it's a hormone issue with me that's keeping my weight plateaued. So I'm down 150 pounds, but I've been at roughly this weight for almost a year now. I'm thinking it's either my thyroid, my cortisol. So maybe HIIT workouts aren't going to be the way for me to go if it's a cortisol problem. I don't want to do workouts that are stressing me out. So I might cut back on my HIIT workouts. And that's a shame if I have to, because I really enjoy doing these HIIT workouts, and I enjoy not being out of breath when I run up a flight of stairs. Or if I do get out of breath, I gain my breath back really fast. So that's one thing I really enjoy about these HIIT workouts. Thanks for tuning in. I have some big things coming up in the next couple months, so keep tuning in. You're going to be seeing them in my videos, and I hope you're doing well. So thanks for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. If you like, please give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate the support, and I appreciate all you people who have been watching these challenges all the way through. I'm up to almost 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot, and take care.